the city of Austin really planning something dark and sinister, or are they just struggling to grow? This article I just came across really encapsulates a lot of what I've been seeing in the city of Austin and what I've been concerned with and what I've looked at and just gone, So if you haven't followed me, I'm Jeremy Knight, your favorite Austin realtor. I actually do a lot of short form content on things coming to the Austin area. I also do a lot of long form content here on the YouTube channel. And I talk about a lot of the things that are coming to the Austin area. A lot of my research comes from the Austin Business Journal. It comes from a lot of different other media resources locally here in the Austin area. I take that, I look at it, give it my input, and give it to you. This article I just came across today really wraps up everything that has been bothering me. And I'm going to go through this article and you tell me, is this bothering to you? Because the same things I'm seeing Austin do is they're really pushing for density. And some people really want that. Some people don't want that. And there's some problems with that density. And so I'm going to go through this article and I'm going to show you some of the things. And I'm going to ask, is this evil? Is this not evil? Is this trying to grow? And when I mean evil, it's like, I feel like sometimes I look at what the city of Austin does and I see, oh, it's just a money grab. This is just another money grab, money grabs. And sometimes I think that they're doing things for the people the right way. So you tell me, I'm going to pull up this article and then we are going to get right into it. So this article just dropped from the Austin Business Journal and it was titled, which made me interested, Austin could expand its downtown planning efforts. So I read this and right off the bat, it says, at least on paper, downtown Austin could be set to grow as the city considers incorporating more neighborhoods into its planning efforts. A May 9th memo from the city planning department, Lauren Middleton Pratt, recommended that a new district plan be created to help steer, I hate that word because in real estate, steering is a terrible term, steer long-term efforts in and around the Austin traditional downtown. And this is where things started to really get interesting to me for this article. And I've actually done recently a post on this and done some stuff around this article. And the reality is like, I'm heavily invested in the Austin area because I love the Austin area. My wife has wanted to move so many times at other places. And I personally just love Austin. So please understand when I'm creating this content, yes, I sell real estate. Absolutely. I sell real estate. It's part of what I do. But the other side is I really do care about the growth and what happens with Austin. So when I'm telling you this, like I get concerned with the density push. I don't like it. I don't think it's the right thing for the city all the time. Some cities it works well. Austin is this funky cultural vibe. And I hate to see Austin lose that. You tell me in the comment section if you think Austin is losing that. But the proposed district would cover more neighborhoods than those currently in the city's downtown Austin plan. And the expanded area would be called the Center City Central District Plan Area. Neighborhoods that would be added include West Campus area, currently covered by the University Neighborhood Overlay, much of the University of Texas main campus, and the South Center waterfront. Now, why is that interesting? Well, a couple of weeks ago, I put out an article, or I showed an article about how the city was trying to get more development in West Campus. They're going to be putting high rises around the university in West Campus. And a lot of people were not happy about that. Well, why are they trying to push and grow the city? Obviously, if they can add more of these big high-rise developments, that's more money for the city, more red tape. And part of this is recently what we've seen is they're trying to get rid of some of the red tape and they're really pushing for density. Now, are you on board with this density? Because the other thing that they're doing is they're doing that thing with the home initiative where you can put 3 tracks on one lot, but that's only really in the city of Austin. So they have to expand the area that they cover in order to push that. Well, what is the benefit of that? More people moving in, more money economically, and more property taxes. Remember, Austin has the highest property taxes. But I'm just curious, why are they making this push? And here's the little graph right here. Why are they making this push to West Campus? Why are they trying to take over more of the university area? Why are they trying to push more density around those areas? A lot of people on that video that I did actually commented and said that the problem with that area is that the price for lease is so high that it's just unaffordable. It's just going to stay unaffordable and people aren't going to move in there. So my curiosity is why they want to move and cover the campus area. It's interesting. So I'm going to continue because we're going to come back to that. Skyscraping buildings have already risen in those areas, blurring the skyline that once differentiated the central business district, and many more are on the way. The broadening of DAP, an update to the district plan with a larger geography, acknowledges a regional nature of the urban core of the city and creates more intentionally in planning for it, Middleton said. So what they're going to do is try to push to I-35 and pick up some more of this area, and which is interesting. So a couple of things that are coming to the area, and this is where I'm starting to get a little concerned. I've been reporting on the I-35 cap. So what they were doing with the I-35 program is that they were going to cap over the top of I-35. TxDOT is expanding I-35. It needs to. And they wanted to put basically parks and recreation over all of that area. So you would literally have from East Austin to downtown would all be covered. People could walk to and from. They didn't really have the money for that. And so now it's being scaled back. So like on the boundaries that we've seen, and in a recent video I did, there's only like 2 areas that are going to do the cap stitch, not the whole area across downtown. A couple of things that are the problem that I've seen in downtown Austin, though, and you tell me if you've seen this in Austin, is they push to put up all these barriers and everything for people to be able to ride bikes and moped and scoot along the frontage roads of downtown. Many people I talk to don't want to go to downtown because you can't even get into downtown. And you have this plan that they put in place in order to bring in the railway, but they didn't really think things out. Speaking of thinking things out, the city does a really good job of taxing and raising taxes. In fact, they were talking about how should we get the money to pay for that. And some people were saying raise the hotel taxes. They recently raised the hotel taxes in order to give money back to historic sites in Austin. I'm going to get to another point here that's just so important. I really think you should hang around because this next point is going to be important. So far they've have $27 million, and I reported this, $27 million set aside for historic districts. Some of the historic places they've even bought, they don't know what to do with. So there's nobody planning in place to actually take this $27 million and use it the right way. So you have $27 million sitting there to preserve historic spots in Austin, and they don't even have a function to do it because there's something in this article that I think is going to bother you, and it's along the lines of that. And I wanted to point that out now. So they can't pay for the cap stitch project. They take money in that they can't actually use and have no plan to. So is this bad planning, or is this just a money grab? The question is still the same question as the beginning of this video. On the north, so the boundaries, they're going to move up. On the north, they're going to be the same as the UNO boundary. On the south side, they're going to move to South Central waterfront boundary, so they're expanding that. They're on the west, they're going to Lamar Boulevard. That's the West Campus area, and they're going to go east to all the way to I-35. The proposal comes as the area deals with large projects that include the redevelopment of the Austin Convention Center, money grab, expansion of I-35, build out of the Austin Transit Partnership, light rail route, and possible revamp of South Congress Avenue with pedestrian plazas. The city, I said South Congress, it's just Congress Avenue, with pedestrian plazas. The city council voted in February to create a downtown strategic initiative, which will establish a managing entity to identify and oversee projects that impact downtown. What the does that even mean? What does that even mean? Seriously, they voted in February to create a downtown strategic initiative, which would establish a managing entity to identify and oversee projects that impact downtown. Okay, put me on the board. Put me on the board. Call me right now and I will help, because it sounds like this is just giving money away. I don't think this is anything that they're actually putting money into. You tell me. I know I'm very skeptical, but here's the next thing. Areas of focus for a central district plan would include finding ways to support more high density. Curious, why more high density? High density real estate projects, finding ways to better connect adjacent neighborhoods to the area and find ways to leverage public transportation and infrastructure investments to further support downtown. So the problem is, downtown, they create all these barriers to get into downtown. People aren't going downtown. So businesses are, I wouldn't say suffering, but if you look at pre-pandemic versus now, people aren't coming to downtown. Why? We took all of this money and spent it on pedestrian rights of ways, all these parks and all these things, and all parks are not the problem, but just these lanes for bikers to go to get to downtown. It's great that bikers can get downtown, but if I drive downtown, it is a huge pain in the butt. So they've created all of these problems in downtown by creating these. I mean, you tell me, do you enjoy all of the ability to ride and be mobile around downtown? Maybe I don't get it. Maybe I haven't lived downtown enough to understand. And that's definitely a fair assessment. But they're trying to make the ability for more people to come downtown, but it's harder to get around downtown. I find it just baffling. And this is why I just felt like I was taking crazy pills when I read this article. The Central District Plan would be familiar to the Northeast District planning process, according to the memo, which is something the city also is considering for the North River East District project. So here's where I just really things started to unravel for me in this article. The planning district has already conducted some outreach to downtown stakeholders and found common themes needed for the area. Now, you tell me if these are important things. Developing design standards to create vibrant and active pedestrian experiences. Okay, needed or not needed? Do we not have enough active pedestrian experiences downtown? And if you're commenting in here that the homeless have great access to downtown already and are enjoying all of these parks, that is something you should write in the comment section. I would love to read that later. Enhancing cultural and economic hubs in the area. Enhancing cultural and economic hubs in the area. What does that even mean? Here's the next one. Supporting housing diversity. Does that mean apartments, condos, townhomes, single family homes, high rises? Is that what it means by diversity? I'm confused. And if you want to just rake me over the coals in the comment section, feel free to. Supporting housing diversity, affordability, and schools in the area. This line right here had me enraged, and here's why. We just saw in an article that I recently put out was that they closed down schools in East Austin. And then what they did was AISD sold off that land, and they're putting it for housing and things like that for people that work in the schools. That part I don't care about, but you're closing schools and you're trying to find a way to find affordability and schools in the area. Just a blanket term. I don't understand. I just don't get it. I mean, you tell me in the comment section, are you happy that Austin is closing schools and then turning them into more density for people at the schools to live? I get that affordability is a problem in Austin, and so what I talk about largely on this channel. Improving public safety by adding more wayfinding, lighting, and accessibility improvements. Creating, implementing tools and possible incentives for the plan to succeed quickly. You tell me in the comment section what that means. I have no clue. Integrating existing parks and trail systems into urban areas, as well as possible creation of new parks and consideration of how parks can mitigate heat islands, erosions, and watershed concerns downtown. I'm all for adding more parks downtown. Again, people in the comment section are going to tell you that that's where more homeless people are going to live, because Austin does. We just saw recently in the news that the amount of homeless people did increase. I think it was like 38% or something like that. It was a large. But this is what has me concerned about all of this, right? And this is where I'm a little just like, I don't know what to think about any of this. Is that, are we trying to get more people into downtown and more tax dollars downtown by going more diverse? Is that part of what this was? Why are we trying to take over West Campus? Why are you trying to take over UT? Why are you trying to incorporate these areas when the UT area just needs to stay itself and not be hindered by the city? And I get that city's trying to get more tax dollars. None of this makes sense to me. It almost makes me think that they have an evil plan to bring in more tax dollars for more expansion. You tell me in the comment section, am I just absolutely crazy? Am I taking crazy pills? I'm Jeremy Knight, your favorite Austin Realtor. See you in the next video.